This is Ice Cream Gecko, and in today's video we're going to take a look at the McDonald's Big Vegan TS, the new recipe Big Vegan TS. Apparently they changed up the recipe a little bit, and maybe it does taste different. I do not know, I've never tried the Big Vegan TS. I think I tried the veggie burger quite a while ago, quite a few years ago actually, and I tried the, I think, vegan burger before, but not the Big Vegan TS. That's a new thing for me. Now let's get this out of the frame so that we can get a beautiful thumbnail. I love that they use the same carton for the double fish TS and the Big Vegan TS, and I guess this is what we have to do. Anyway, I paid €3.99 for this, waited a bit longer than expected, and let's see what we got out of this. Now, got to say, this, let me get the light a bit better maybe. This looks actually quite good. Now, it's been a while since I've been to McDonald's, and the last burger I bought from them certainly did not look like this. I'm surprised. I am honestly surprised. Bit of lettuce, bit of onion, bit of pickle, more lettuce, some ketchup, some mustard I think, some tomatoes, and we've got that famous or infamous vegan patty, and we've got some what I think are just roasted onions on the very bottom with a bit of ketchup, which is nice that they put a bit of ketchup in here as well. Usually they, do only the top, and it's a bit of a waste sometimes, I think. Now let's slice this through to have a good cross section of this. I always do those cross sections. It's not necessary for this, I don't think, but sometimes it's nice to see something like perfectly dissected. It's not perfect, but the flesh that we've got here, the patty, is a bit pinkish. If this was meat, then I would be maybe even a bit concerned, but I guess this is just like beetroot juice or something that makes this red. I am not entirely sure though, so I guess this is looking quite decent, and I'm going to have my first bite right now. The McDonald's Big Vegan TS with the new recipe is going in. Now the first bite is quite alright. I didn't have too much of the patty, but it tastes very similar to a regular burger of theirs. Let's go for a few more bites. Now one half of the burger is gone, and I've got to say that I did not taste any meat, and because this is so thickly packed with the lettuce on there and everything, it's kind of difficult to eat actually when you slice it through. I've got to say that the Rebel Whopper that I had before, the one from Burger King, which is I guess the almost direct competitor to this thing right here, that tasted more like meat. Maybe they skipped out on that let's fry it, or let's cook it on the regular like meat grill. That's what the people at Burger King do. And I had a bit of a almost like fish scales. It felt like, maybe it's just the looks of this. When you look at it, it looks like there are almost like chips of something in here, and it did remind me of fish scales when I had it in my mouth. Something that's closer to something I actually eat would be that crispy chicken with those almost like plate-like things, scale-like things on the outside. That looks kind of weird. Never really liked that stuff, but it looks a bit like that. Now, when we break this apart, you can maybe see that a little bit better right here. It does look a bit weird. This, for example, this thing right here looks a bit like cartilage. Let's see how this tastes. It has got a very meat-like chewiness to it, that's for sure. This certainly does look interesting. I've never seen something quite like this before. Like the vegan burger that I had, it probably was about 2 years ago, 1 or 2 years ago. That didn't taste like this at all. This one right here, when you eat it with the entire burger, you almost don't taste it at all. Now, when I eat it all by itself, I should say, it certainly has some sort of barbecue flavor to it. Like not a smoky or anything flavor to it, but just a barbecue-like flavor of something like like chicken meat, not like beef at all. I wouldn't say it's got the consistency and the sort of dried outside flavor of chicken meat that has been cooked. Maybe if you've had doner before, or I don't know, kebab before, like chicken kebab, those really thin chicken slices that they put on there, reminds me a lot of that. That outside structure right here is much more densely packed, almost like it's been, yeah, of course it has been, put on a hot plate and has been cooked, but you really feel it. It seals the entire outside of it and gives it a not really crunchy texture, but something that resembles a bit of, maybe lower quality dried up meat that's on a kebab or something like that. Yeah, it really reminds me of that. Taste-wise, it's alright. It doesn't really taste of meat. It does taste of something of meat that has been cooked on a grill, but that particular meat flavor, that's not there. It's just that slightly, I wouldn't describe it as smoky, but slightly barbecuey flavor. The consistency, on the other hand, is a bit too weird for me. It's a bit like chopped up chicken stuff, and when you look closer at it, it looks like you've got a lot of little cartilage pieces on here. It's not the most visually pleasing, I wouldn't say. Alright, I'll try to reassemble this beautiful piece of modern Western cuisine, and I try to finish off this thing. It's a bit difficult, and it's maybe a bit of a mess, but it's just alright, and just how I like to eat things sometimes. The meatless massacre is now completed, and you can see the remnants in the back. It's as dirty as I expected it to be. The first impression was also better than I expected it to be. It looked like there has been a bit more care gone into the burger itself than maybe usual, or maybe they switched out some of the people that worked in that particular McDonald's. Usually the things that I bought from them weren't looking too pretty. This one right here was fine, I think. Color-wise, yeah, was looking good. What was interesting was that the patty was kind of pinkish. And like I said, usually when you've got meat and that's pink from a fast food restaurant, I wouldn't trust it. This right here is vegan, and therefore there's probably like beetroot juice or something in there that made it that pinkish color, so it's fine. It certainly imitated, when it comes to color, the meat itself quite decently, I would say. Consistency and texture-wise, now everything was great, but the patty itself, when it comes to the consistency and texture, and the lettuce was fine, the tomato was fine, the onion was fine, the roasted onions on the very bottom were fine, the bun was fine, but the patty itself, while it does have some sort of coherency to it, like it doesn't break apart like many other, meat substitute patties sometimes do, or used to do at least, but it was that weird sort of scale looking like, cartilage feeling like, looking like some. It was looking weird. It was not looking like meat that you want to eat. Yes, it was looking like something that could be meat, but that sort of meat you really wouldn't want to eat. So that's why I didn't really appreciate the patty itself too much, and also that outside of the patty. When it comes to the surface of that thing, it looked like there was egg yolk involved, and then it had been cooked on the hot plate. Of course, there wasn't any egg yolk in here, but it did remind me of that. And also that outside texture, that certain dryness to it, that really reminded me of drier, thinner, older kebab chicken. Some sort of texture like that it was, and it was very close to that particular texture that I can remember. At least it's what I remember from my last chicken kebab, and I do not really appreciate that at all. A bit unfortunate. I think the previous patty that I had reminded me much more of actual ground meat. It came much closer to it, I think. Maybe the vegan burger TS is still different, still like that way. I'm going to try that out sometime soon, but this one right here, overall the texture of it, and how it looked, it was kind of weird. Taste-wise, though, it has been fine. Of course, it didn't really taste like meat. It had some sort of barbecue flavor to it, but not too much. And I would say just the right amount. And I think also when they put just more sauce on here, maybe not just ketchup, but maybe some sort of smoky sauce, it would maybe even be difficult to distinguish just by taste that this is actually a vegan patty and not just the usual slaughterhouse waste / wood chips mix that you get on regular burgers. Usually the taste of the meat itself in that isn't really dominant at all. Usually it's the sauces that make or break a burger. At least I think it is that way too often, which is a bit unfortunate, but it's just the way it is. So I'll give half points in that regard when it comes to the taste, because, you know, the entire thing counts. It's just not the patty. Overall, it has been okay, but I don't think from the taste perspective that I would buy it again. Theme wise, they I guess made a vegan burger, the big vegan TS. I just have to trust them that it is vegan. I've got no way to tell for myself if this has actually been vegan for me now. So yeah, I give that point because it is a burger that is vegan and it's bigger than the regular one, and it's got tomato and salad / lettuce, it is in English, on it, so I can't really fault them for anything like that, which gives them, or at least the big vegan TS, a rating of 7 out of 10. Now, when I compare this burger right here, the big vegan TS, to other vegan burgers, or vegetarian burgers even, I'm not entirely sure if the Rebel Whopper was vegan or vegetarian. I'm not entirely sure, but I've got to say that the Rebel Whopper was a lot better than the big vegan TS, at least when it comes to the Rebel Whopper that I have in my memory. Maybe it changed over the months, half year, whatever it is by now. But just from memory, I think the Rebel Whopper was more consistent with its entire setup. It came a lot closer to something like the regular Whopper, and taste-wise, I think it was better as well. And it didn't have that weird fish scale-like structure to it, to the outside and the inside, and the big vegan TS patty looked a bit like cartilage pieces, like I said previously, but you know, it's kind of weird. The Rebel Whopper didn't have that. So if I were to choose between the Rebel Whopper, for example, and this one, the big vegan TS, and I would take the Rebel Whopper. But if you have to go for McDonald's and you cannot eat meat for some reason, doesn't matter which one it is, then this might actually be a lot better than just getting their regular too thin and too mushy fries. McDonald's fries are, I think, horrible. In any case, the McDonald's Big Vegan TS review is now over. I talked for way too long, and I'm going to discard of the remnants of it now to completely close that chapter, and I thank you very much for watching. If you've got a question or a video suggestion, leave it in the comment section down below, and if you want to see more videos just like this one, please subscribe. Thanks again very much for watching, and I hope I'm going to see you soon. Until then, bye bye.